our virtual homebuyer event. I am so excited today to have all of us back here at our, what do we call the black tabletop? What are we calling this?
Yeah,
I don't even know.
Black table talk.
I mean,
Black
I like
tabletop.
it.
Black table talk.
Yeah,
I
like it.
Instead of that red table talk with Jada Pickett.
Yeah, we're not going to do her.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, we're not
Black
gonna do
table
that.
talk about real estate.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
So we are here today. Thank you all for joining us today. We are so excited to give you information about this crazy market.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And it is definitely crazy right now. So it's going to be a little bit different than what we typically do. But we figured that it's going to be so much more beneficial for you to get real life information on this
What's going on?
market, right? Because that's what everybody wants to know right now. And that's the biggest questions for everyone right
Yes.
now. And we all have a different perspective from the industry. Like, we're all different, but we're as one, but we come together. But I think with us being able to share our different opinions and the different things that we're going through and experiencing right now, I think it's going to be a lot beneficial for you guys to see it, the different questions. So we're going to get started. I'm Keleisha, the owner of the KNA Homes Realty Group.
I'm Laura Garza, owner of Goosehead Insurance, Laura Garza Agency.
Katie Guerrero, Synergy One Lending.
Jerry London, owner of MPR Title. And they're going to be a... I messed it up.
Hey, go with it, girl.
Go ahead. This is real.
This is real.
We're live. This is
Okay. If you have any comments, there's going to be a chat box. Please put them in there, and we'll be here to answer all your questions.
Yes.
Correct. Yeah, we'll be watching, guys. So we're gonna definitely try to get through everybody's questions. A lot of people have them, so we will definitely try to answer as many as possible. But most of them may be actually already answered today. Most people find out that as we talk about the different topics, they are already we answer most of them. So we're gonna get started. So by law, I have to disclose that I am a licensed realtor with Ultima Real Estate. That is the broker's name. And yeah, so we're going to move right along today. So congratulations, guys, because this is the first step of the home buying process. Yeah. A lot of people are scared of this point, and we all know that, right?
Yes, they are.
They like to ask questions, but the very first start of all of this is this.
I think they're scared of rejection. Is that what you think? I think
Yeah.
it is?
Yeah.
Yep. So congratulations on just being here today and taking the time out to get informed. That's the biggest thing, is to get informed on what is currently going on today in this market. So we're going to actually be able to talk about a whole lot of different things today. Loan types, loan programs, credit scores, title, mortgage, insurance, real estate. So it's all gonna tie in, but we're gonna give it to you guys. And my favorite question, as y'all know, to everybody is, do y'all allow me to be real about real estate?
Be real.
Be real.
Be real.
We need
is
the real
real
more
and
than
live.
ever. More than
No,
ever.
exactly.
Okay, because I don't sugarcoat it. I can be direct in some areas, as y'all know. We all can.
Yeah.
Right.
Because we have to.
We have to be.
And we are the professionals in it. We see it. We're living in it. We're doing it every day. And we know that a lot of people have this assumption of the market right now. And we are going to be here to answer those truly today.
Yeah.
Right. What is actually happening. So we're going to move right along. So, ladies, where do we want to start? Let's talk about understanding this market right now.
Yeah.
I think that's the great talk, a great start.
I think that's what everybody's here for.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I would hope that they would be here for.
Yeah, and I think, everyone, and a lot of question is, when is it a good time to buy? And, we always say that now is the right time to buy. And it's really a true statement. Like, anytime you look at the market, over the last 2 years for the most part, anytime we've, met and we've, had the home buyer seminars, we've always said that now is the right time. And
100%.
and it's never a more true thing than it is today.
Right.
100%. Which would lead me into a question for you, Jerry. What makes you say that?
Because at the end of the day, these prices are not going to get any cheaper.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
And the inventory, as we would love the inventory to increase, now we're getting into a situation to where the inventory is what we may call a little bit limited.
Just like very limited.
It's a drought.
Limited. And So, you know, we talk about buyers and sellers market and, you know, what's a good time to buy and sell. Right now, you know, depending on who you are, you know, it's a great time for both. But that's 100%. Always how the market is.
Yeah.
It is. It truly is. And I think we've been in that type of market for such a while now, especially since we've decided to do our virtual events, because as some of you may know that have followed us for quite some time, we used to do them in person, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And they were so powerful.
Yes.
I miss them so much.
The connection, the excitement,
Energy.
Yes. Yes.
I can feel it all in there, and I miss that.
Yeah.
I truly do. But we are. It's new, right? We're still in a pandemic, and we want to keep everybody safe. And
the plus side is they're probably sitting on the couch or in bed watching us. So
and
that's
the plus side.
Exactly.
We're able to actually connect to a lot more people,
Right.
And you can connect with us from anywhere,
Exactly.
right now.
Exactly.
So I think that is the beauty of it, and we have had to learn how to kind of transition our energy a little bit, because we've been used to being in front of people. So now being virtually and having to actually do it like this now, it's probably been different for us. I would say for me.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But to piggyback and go back to the topic of today's market and understanding the market, especially from a realtor's point of view, and Jerry, like I said, she's the owner of title company, and understanding it from Katie's perspective as a mortgage lender, and then understanding it from Laura's perspective as insurance. We are going to be able to share a lot of different things that we've been noticing in the industry with our different clients, right? Just from a year ago, just from even 6 months ago.
Right.
Yeah.
How the market has been so different.
It's so different. It's so different.
I
And
don't
it's
think I
month to
can tell
month.
people that enough, though. It's month to month. Now we're definitely month to month.
We are so
I would say
month
it
to
used
month.
to be by the quarter.
Yes,
Quarterly
it's
it
not
would
that.
change.
As a matter of fact, I had someone send us a contract that they just closed on their house in November. They're selling it right now. And the equity that they have in their home in less than 6 months.
Yeah.
Really?
And she's selling it in Mansfield. Yes.
Yeah.
In 6 months, she is selling her home.
We can't even make this up.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk on that because I have such a powerful even statement to go along with that about a seller, an example of that same situation.
Yeah.
But for buyers right now, the main thing, of course, is it a good time?
Yes.
Absolutely. Is it a good time for sellers? Absolutely. And because you both, no matter what you're doing, you're going to benefit from this market today. And we're going to talk about that along the way, the different benefits of buying and selling. As far as buying right now, the benefits are, as stated, you can't go wrong with buying a home, first of all.
You can't.
How many of y'all are renting right now? Okay. So a lot of you that are renting right now, how many of you know that your rent is going up? I'm pretty sure.
There's a hands up emoji. Put the hands up emoji.
We can see
that.
And as a matter of fact, the amount that the rent has increased. I think they had
it's
something
insane.
on CNN about how across the
It
nation
is
that
crazy.
the rent prices have just gone, like I believe it said like at least like
Apartments,
17 or
houses,
18%. It's crazy. It's crazy.
And the difference in between you renting and definitely owning is that your mortgage doesn't change.
Exactly.
You're locked in. You're locked into that. Yeah, taxes may fluctuate a little bit,
Right.
but your mortgage is your mortgage. You don't have to worry about the inflation or the increase yearly. You know, I don't think people realize that rental prices are going to continue to go up.
Yes, they are.
Landlords are going, because they can get it.
They can get it.
And they know what the market is.
Exactly.
So they can increase apartments to landlord. They can do it because they are going to get it.
Right.
And most people, another reason why they're doing it is because honestly they know too for the tenant that it's going to cost them more to move.
Exactly.
So it's going to cost you more to move than versus you just staying there and keep paying it. So if you are moving, the only thing you should be moving to is a house.
Yeah.
And not apartment, because you're probably going to have to continue to move from place to place to place in this market with rents going up.
And it's going to be probably more every time you go to another place. It's going to be more.
100%. More and more. So again, and we'll dip and dive into interest rates. You know, I think that's the biggest concern for everybody right now, because they're like, okay, y'all are telling me I should buy right now. I'm sure all of y'all are saying that, but what about these interest rates?
Yeah.
Katie, what can you share with that?
I mean, interest rates are still notoriously low. You know,
100%.
people we've been very spoiled for the past couple of years where they've been in the 2s and the 3s and even the 4s. And right now that's just not where we are. I mean, it's just not. I mean, I bought my first home at 5.875, I believe. I mean, most of us at this table did.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that was an excellent rate. And it still is an excellent rate. So I think that people don't understand the return on a rental is zero.
Yes.
So they
Yes.
need to be less concerned about what the interest rate is and more concerned about where they're going to be living and what their future looks like.
That's good.
So your rent's going to go up every year. You're never going to get anything back from that. So I'm telling people you have a huge opportunity if you are patient, diligent, and you really have the desire to own. This is a great time. There's a huge opportunity here. People that waited from the market even 2 years ago. Me and her talk about this all the time. You know, people that were going to wait because they didn't want to be in the market 2 years ago are now calling us going, okay, I'm ready. And boy, they wish they would have bought that house 2 years ago because, and we try to tell them, and it's so different, and they just don't, you know, you don't know until you know.
100%.
So right now, it's just, now is a good opportunity for somebody to get in there and really grow.
And I think it's one thing to point out also too, you know, while we talk about the interest rates and why it was a good time for them to buy, you know, 2 years ago, is because you take a $250,000 house 2 years ago when the interest rate was 2, 3, 4%, and now it's, you know, 4 or 5%. Now you're having to kind of figure out what does that 250 look like, because the 250 looks very different
from 2 or 3 years ago.
2 to 3 years ago.
100%. Yeah. And that's the key. It's going to continue to look different.
Yeah.
Because home prices are going to continue to go up.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's a double whammy when you're getting hit with the price increases on the homes and then also with interest rates.
Right.
So yeah, like Katie said, we are still at an all-time low.
Exactly.
Right? And people are thinking, oh, we've never too much been in a market to where we've actually seen the 5% in what?
5 years.
So long
yeah.
that you say that now, and it's kind of scary. Oh, man, it's not good for me to buy. It's at 5%. But reality is, it's still a great time to buy.
It's a great time to buy. And I would definitely encourage you to buy now because what we're seeing also is not only are you buying when you buy now, but you're buying with equity.
Oh,
Exactly. That's the big part.
That's the big part.
The biggest part that people need to understand is that these prices are not going to go down. So it's one thing to say, okay, I'm going to wait for the interest rate to go down. It really is, because we don't know what's going to happen from one day to the next with interest rates. And they have gone up and down in the past even 10 years, and they're going to continue to do that.
Yes.
However, we know there's a housing shortage.
Yep.
We know
Yes.
that is a fact. It is not something that we can sit around and wait for this big bubble that may or may not ever happen. That is a very good point, right?
That's it. The bubble question.
Everybody asks about this big bubble, right?
But it's a bubble for who?
My point.
You know, because I think it's relative. And
Right.
I don't really see it here in Texas. Definitely DFW area. I don't think it's...
They keep comparing us back to the crash, the market
Yeah.
crash, the 2008 crash. Oh, we're just going to wait.
Wait till the bubble.
You know how many people I've talked to that says that to me all the time? Do you think the market's going to crash? Or, oh, I'm just going to wait for the market to crash. Who's telling you this?
It's not. It's not. Well, because also, too, people have to, you know, take into consideration what was going on back then.
Yes.
Correct. They don't understand that.
So I actually asked Katie that this morning.
Right.
I was like, do you think so? She explained it. You want to explain it?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that makes so much sense.
I mean, I think before it was faulty loans.
Exactly.
You know,
Yes.
the faulty loans people were doing.
Yep.
You know,
Anybody can get a loan.
Anybody can
Correct.
get a loan. People were doing loans in their garage.
And that's why we had
on
a crash.
arms and on these crazy no paper, no docs, no nothing loans, and they don't do that anymore.
We're more regulated.
People were getting homes at 500 credit scores.
Yes.
Yeah.
If they had some money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Or if
they
you
were
knew
getting
the right person.
If you, there you go, 100%, 100%.
Yeah.
Or if you knew the right person.
So, so
It's very different.
very different.
And that's, I mean, you know, when you talk about how many people are moving just to Texas, there's 11 million people going to move here this year.
They
That's
say
incredible.
statistically right now we are getting an average of 300 to 400 families moving here per week.
That is insane.
300 to
But I
400
know it's
families
true.
per week moving to Dallas. Dallas, y'all.
Yeah.
Corporate, let's not even just talk about families. Let's talk about the corporate offices that are moving their companies here
Right.
to Dallas, right? Because the cost of living is so much more cheaper.
Everyone sees it.
The business side is so much more cheaper for them.
Exactly.
So they rather move and cut costs because again, we're still in a pandemic.
Yeah.
But if they can definitely take the company to a different state. That's going to save them thousands and thousands of dollars, and the cost of living for their employees is going to be so different. I mean, that's why you see people coming here paying cash, guys.
Oh my
cash.
gosh.
These people are selling their homes, up north, and they're coming here with $800,000, and they're slapping on the table and say, "Oh, I have the money. I can get this. I used to live in this, but I can get this in Dallas by a long shot." That's why we're also in this situation,
right?
Because you have so many people coming here paying cash. Being a listing agent as well and seeing it firsthand. I'm talking about people paying $600,000 in cash. Closing in 2 weeks.
That is something that blew my mind, and I started to see it last year is when we started to see it, because that's when we started to get a huge influx of people out of state from coming in. And there was a price point that we could always say that, okay, if we saw 300 or under, we could possibly see a cash. It really was like 200 and under, you could possibly see a cash 100%. Transaction. But anything over that, like, you're going to get a lender. People are coming with $1 million in cash. It's mind blowing, and now it's a norm. Like, we are expecting to see, cash deals with
it's the norm
now. Whatever price it is, because they do have it. But at the same time, it shouldn't be discouraging, because again, if you have the right people on your side, there are different things that they can do, so you can be competitive even with those cash buyers.
And that is a very important right now, is having the right team, the right realtor that you are working with. That is key in this market too, guys. Just because you know a realtor, there's so many scenarios that I can go on, and I would never discourage or bash anyone. First of all, what I'm saying is it's key for a realtor to know this market,
exactly,
and to understand this market and how to help you in this market. Because anybody can have a license, guys, and say I'm a realtor, but do they know how to help you in this market?
It's the experience that counts right now.
It's the experience. 100%, Laura. It's the experience, and it's also the knowledge. Right.
You have to know where to take people, because also too, I definitely encourage people, even when you are with your realtor, your realtor is there to guide you. 100%. And just because, yes, we know you want to be in this area, well, it may be a couple of miles down the road that has a great deal for you, and you get more bang for your buck. And, your realtor needs to be there. You need to have a realtor that knows that and knows the market and knows how to negotiate on your behalf in this market.
And to help you realize, too, that everyone, we're in a different way of living. So we want to make sure that, of course, what does the investment look like? What is the return going to look like? So if a realtor doesn't understand how to really understand what your end goal is. Right. The end goal could be that you don't want to sell the property and you want to hold on to it, even if you live in it for a couple years, and you may want to lease it out. You may want to Airbnb it. Of course, there's so many different options now, right? That you can do. Or you may say, hey, I just want to live here for a couple years and I want to cash out. And that will lead me to an example of just recently. I had a seller that was actually going to hire her cousin. And her cousin was going to be her realtor, and her cousin was actually part-time realtor. And her cousin was actually going to price her home $80,000 below, because there was no comps in the area. So, of course, the kicker for my client, and the reason why she didn't go with her cousin, is because her cousin said, it's going to take me 15 days to get your property ready and get this going. And she was like, well, I'm ready right now.
I feel like part-time was a red flag.
Right. First of all. Right.
It is. Use a part-time realtor.
And we'll talk about that too. We'll talk about that too. So, needless to say, a friend of a friend was like, hey, did you know, so-and-so's realtor? Like, she's amazing. You really need to just reach out to her and just get a second opinion. Right. So, needless to say, I was contacted. I went over there same day, met the young lady over to her home, and beautiful house, built in 2019. If you guys follow me, you'll probably know the property I'm talking about. 5-bedroom, 3.5 bath, 3,477 square feet. Again, in her neighborhood, she's on a new build street where they just built on one street. Okay? Which is random, right? They didn't build a whole subdivision. They built on one street, this builder. So there was no comps. because you can't compare anything from the other. I mean, right next to her is all older homes. There's literally no comps in her pocket, or no comps really pretty much that are newer, 2 years old in that area. So it was a little bit different for me, because of course I had to think outside the box. And I'm like, knowing my market and knowing the area and being in this, of course, full time, I disclose
Green flag.
you know, to understand where can you get a 5-bedroom, 3.5 bath, 2 years old, almost 3,500 square feet. Where are you getting that at right now? And so I was thinking, okay, I want to make this property competitive, but yet I don't want to overprice it.
Right.
I want to make it to where I know that looking in the area and looking online, there is nothing out there. You can't even get that. So making it a competitive price, but also knowing, okay, I want to make sure I'm not actually overdoing it. So anyways, after doing some research, I decided to price it at X, Y, and Z, and I priced it, and again, where I priced it, which I don't mind disclosing, which was $530. Her cousin, I think, was going to price it at $460, $470.
Wow.
So priced it at $530. She got multiple offers in the weekend, and she chose an offer $35K over asking, guarantee paying $565 for that property. Wow. Guaranteeing it. Guarantee. So what I'm saying is, does it matter if you have the right realtor? Absolutely.
It
because
does.
A part-time, and no shame to anyone, but a part-time person, she would have really honestly probably missed out on anywhere from $80,000 to $100,000 in her pocket had she have gone with the wrong realtor, and they didn't understand.
I feel like, honestly, too, being part-time, like, you would be fast in this market. So that person would probably never would have been able to get a house or anything, because you have to be quick.
So that's just an example of the money that she wouldn't have been able to pocket, though.
And in this market, you need every dime.
Yes. So sellers,
you want every dime. Let me not say this market. No matter who you are, as a seller, you want all the money.
But I want to point this out. She was barely in the house 2 years.
Yeah.
Guys, and she made over $200K.
That is insane.
I will not disclose how much she made, but I will say she made over $200K.
That is awesome.
That means she profited $100,000 a year.
That's amazing.
And barely was in there 2 years.
And she just slept and lived in it.
Where are you doing that at? I'll wait.
I'm jealous.
Yeah.
That's why we say now.
Yeah.
Now it's all it will. You will never hear us say, "Oh, don't buy right now."
Yeah.
Never. Never.
No, y'all. If we ever do that, just turn the cameras off.
It's just not in our nature, because we see the returns that people don't see. We see the things that no one knows. So you're not seeing that stuff on paper and to actually say this is real until you see it. And I'm like, is it a good time to buy? Yes. We're going to continue to preach that because we're on the back end seeing the numbers.
Yes.
And where can you make that amount of money, guys? Just living.
Just leaving.
Not driving your car, because I know some of y'all out there driving your mortespthat's
whole
another conversation.
thing.
You know what I mean?
Tell me.
Katie will get on to y'all about that. Especially if you're not a homeowner.
Right.
Okay. And there's no value, but you pulling up looking cute. In that car, there's no value or return on your investment of driving that car, and you're not a homeowner. So my whole point of that is making sure that you have some type of investment first before you tend to want to buy that dream car.
Right.
Yeah.
Because the return now is that you can actually, what you said, that example of they live there for 6 months.
6 months, and guess what? She listed her house. The offer was $150K more than what she listed a house for. So, she bought it in November, and she's selling now.
Wow, I have to scratch my head.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is now she's buying a home for less than what she bought that home for.
Dang.
So that's a whole nother thing. And so you can't say that, she's going to have to pay. No. It's, it's kind of like we're in the game of Monopoly.
We are.
Yeah.
100%.
With real estate.
Yeah.
But,
agreed.
But I have a question for Katie. So, we talked about, the options for the buyers, especially, in competing with cash offers. What are some things that are available that you can assist with?
I mean, there's definitely lending is probably, it's tough right now. So I know we're all sitting here talking about how it's a great time to buy, it's a great time to buy, but it's also a hard time to buy. It's harder. It's never been harder to get a loan. It's never been harder to get a house. It's never been harder. So I'm probably the one here that's going, you know what? It's not going to be an easy road, but is it going to pay off? Absolutely. I think that so many people, we live in a time of instant gratification.
Yes.
We are spoiled. We get instant likes. We get instant loves. We get instant. Everybody loves you on social media.
Everyone wants Amazon Prime.
Yes.
There you go.
And then you try, and then you want the one that's overnight or here this afternoon.
About 10.
Yeah,
Between 10 and 5, please.
We're spoiled. You're right.
And it's
I
true.
never looked at it like that,
Yeah.
Katie.
So, I have, and we work hard. And Keleisha will tell you, we don't, none of us here get paid until you have a home and you own it and you're closed. Yeah. And so we work really, really hard to get people in, to get people pre-approved. We work hard to get people into homes. We work hard to, get them to the closing table and get them insurance. We work so hard. So if we're working 50 hours a week and we have a buyer that maybe saw 2 or 3 homes and then they decide they're going to change their minds because they don't want to be in this market, that's hard on us. So that's the kind of hard that I'm talking about, and that's what I really want to talk about. There are several different types of financing. We do have all cash financing. We have USDA loans that are still available. We've got VA, we've got FHA, we've got conventional. So we have the financing available. It is no more difficult to get a loan today than it is 2 years ago. So I won't say that. It is only difficult if you make it difficult. And it's really about you turning in the documentation that you need to turn in to make sure that you can be pre-approved and not pre-qualified. It's about using all the tools in your toolbox, which we preach on a daily basis, because I think so many people don't realize that, we've been in such a good time in the past, and I keep going back to the past because that's, where we are. But even a year ago, you could get $10,000, $15,000 in down payment assistance. Yeah. And not that you cannot do that today. Those programs are still available today. However, you have to have cash in this market to compete. You have to.
You do.
And so if I'm looking at your profile and I'm looking at your loan and I know you've got $50,000 in the bank and you're getting down payment assistance, you get that down payment assistance all day. I want you to have it. But I also need you to tap into that $50,000 if you need it. And I think that that's the shift that we need to have people understand, that, you know what, you got to have a little skin in the game.
And that's what we have to talk about today,
And
guys.
so that's one of the things that I know that was going to be harder for me to talk about, because I tend to be the bad guy anyway.
No, it's not. It's real.
But it's really real. You have to be able to bring your A game. Bring your A game. Because if I'm bringing my A game, you better bring your A game.
But it's about setting expectations. Because, again, we've been operating in a past market. When we last saw you, we were operating in the market as of then. And now and it's just being real. And like, hey, this is what you're going to have to do. And we see it on all sides, where you're going to have to get more insurance.
And that's true. We've been spoiled. We've been doing these low-end policies, and that's not how it is anymore.
It's not at all. And to piggyback what you said, Katie, you're not the bad guy, because that is the reason why we're doing this.
Actually, she's your best friend.
She's a real one.
She's gonna help you get the house.
We're gonna talk about.
Going to tell you what you need to hear.
That's what we are here for, and that's what we need to be able to tell our audience and tell the people that are watching us, and getting real information from the people that know it best. Right? We are in this, all of us, full time, day in, day out, from morning to night. So we see it in every which direction. But for what you were saying, right now, guys, down payment assistance, we do a lot of that. But it was a time, just last year, where you didn't have to put no skin in the game.
And there was a time the year before that and the year before that where you would get $20,000 in seller concessions, and they paid for your title, they paid for your service,
everything.
They gave you a pony at closing.
They did.
They were begging you whatever you need,
whatever you want. Take my house, take my keys, my firstborn, sit in the front seat of my car. There was a time where, and then you could get down payment assistance for a 4% rate, and they gave you everything. And those were good days. And that's not today. So we're not in that market. And it's not that good days aren't ahead. That is not what we're saying. I think that good days are going to be even better. The opportunity for growth is infinite, really, truly. I mean, even looking at our own investments, I mean, across the table here, our own investment collectively, we are millionaires.
Yes. Yeah. Hello.
Okay? I mean, because we've made really good investments. And smart real estate.
And the investment that she's talking about is real estate. And I think that's the mindset that, especially now that you have to be, we talk about this all the time on how, you know, our homes with our investment in buying our first homes, you know, propelled us to buy our second homes and third homes and, you know, what have you. But it's really understanding this is an investment. Look at, I know that people are like, oh, this is my forever home.
We all think that.
We all think that.
And
we think that until you get in there. And then you're like, oh, this house getting a little small. Oh, I want to change this. I want to do this.
Because your lifestyle changes.
Oh, my God.
Your lifestyle changes. When you buy your first house, I mean, some people are buying single. Yeah. Especially shout out to my single ladies. First of all, I'm not biased here, but I love it. I love my single moms, and I love women that are doing it and not waiting. So they're married now. Because the opportunities will be missed if you wait.
Yes. And don't wait on a man, please.
Shout out to the men too that are wait on a woman and not waiting. Hey, I am not cutting you out of this picture because you're not waiting for that perfect time or you have to have it all figured out. You are making if anything you are doing, you are actually doing it the right way. The smart way. You're making an investment for your future down the line, and it is going to pay off so tremendously for when you do get married.
Exactly. I was going to say that. Something funny though, if you have a house and you're dating, that's going to attract somebody else that you want.
That's attractive. What do you mean?
Attractive. That's what I said. Don't wait on somebody. Get it, and then if you're a girl,
oh, you don't even need me.
Gonna be like,
I want you, but
Lord, like you have such a success with Airbnb, right? With her first home, which
I was 20 years old. I'm 35 now.
I wish my very first home that I was in a position.
Me too.
Because I'm like. Do you not realize, you know, but we have to live and learn, right? But I really want you to kind of talk about what you did, which I think is so amazing, with your first house, how'd that come about and where you are right now today with that?
Yeah, I was 20 years old and I had a newborn, and my thing was like, I just did not want to raise her in an apartment. I wanted the backyard, you know, all that good stuff. So I bought a house when I was 20. I didn't know what the hell I was doing, excuse my language. But I just walked into a real estate office, and they put me with a lender at the time, and I just bought a house. And now I think I lived there for like 12 years.
What was your rate back then? Just curious.
Back then it was like 5.5, and even now.
And the rates are kind of lower than that right now.
Yeah. Even now, I think I refied in 2016, and now I have like a 4.1 still. So.
Wow.
But it was not my dream home. It was not anything. I was just like, I want a house. I had no idea what I was doing, but I just knew I need to get a house. Like, I just feel like that was a smart thing to do at the time. And then I flipped it to an Airbnb 2 years ago. And now
Where is it?
Downtown Frisco.
And how successful have you been with that, Laura Garza?
It's been solid booked for almost 2 years now. On a low end month, I'll make about $2,000. That's a bad month. And a good month, I'll make $9,000.
That is awesome.
Amazing.
So it is awesome. It's like a hot bar.
Tell them how much you paid for that house.
Oh my God. I paid $80,000.
Wow.
And for a house in downtown Frisco.
Yeah. And now I could sell for well over probably around $300,000, $350,000 maybe.
But what is that $80,000 house making you monthly to your net income right now?
Average, it pays for that house itself on all the bills, utilities, everything as well, and it pays for my current house now. But it's average about $5,000 a month.
That is wow. That is awesome.
In passive income.
Yeah.
So passive income stream. So this is where we get into
what they do.
Yeah.
So when you think Laura.
So just buy a house for investment purposes. Don't even it's not even like, oh, I don't want to live there. Or it doesn't have this, doesn't have that. Like, honestly, just buy it because you can flip it to an Airbnb.
Exactly.
You can have somebody else live in it for a year or two.
Yeah.
Like
you nailed it, Laura. I mean,
don't look at it like that's not the house that I want. It's get it for a year or two, and the equity that they talked about. That's where it's at. That's gold. My equity is over probably $200,000. Like it's just.
But I'm just talking about, even if you're not even just looking at the equity, I'm talking about the passive income that you're getting on a monthly basis.
It's my play money.
Paying for whatever and what? I mean, that's what people are making.
People are working full-time jobs and not making
Exactly.
I mean, no offense whatsoever, but I'm just saying, like,
it's huge.
I mean,
Because of one smart investment that she made when she was 20.
one
And
smart
so-
investment.
You know, when you think about who you're going to hire, that's why it makes it so important. Because I want to say this, and you can attest to this. All of us can.
Yeah.
But because we've been in such a hot market for the past, I would say, probably 5 years since I've been doing this. And, you know, we've had realtors that are pretending part-time to be realtors.
Yeah.
Because they can do this on a Sunday, one day a week, and still make good money.
Yep.
And, you know, your brother's cousin's girlfriend can do it. And your
that hashtag, you know,
I
such
mean,
thing as part-time realtor.
it's true. I mean, there's so many people that got into this business because they thought it was going to be so profitable.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they thought they were going to open up a title company because they're going to make so much money.
Yep.
Now they're closing their doors.
Yep.
And now these lenders who thought they were going to be lenders are closing their doors.
Yep.
And so you have to
Say
be
it,
with a
Katie.
group of people that are collectively
Say it, Katie.
knowledgeable about this market
Yeah.
and the market for the past 20 years. And
Yeah.
so that's what you're going to find with us. You're going to get a little bit of
Everything.
experience and
Yeah.
knowledge with all of us collectively. And I think that's what we bring to the table when you're going to work with a team like this. And so I really want to point that out, that it's so important to find a team of people that can bring a little bit of something, because we all have a little something to bring.
Yeah.
And I love that because, as you can see, we all have different backgrounds. We've all done it a different way.
Yeah.
And we've all been successful in our own way, in our own life. And I love that. And I love that we can actually share our past experiences because we literally did it all differently.
Yeah.
You know?
We did.
And I would just say I did it. I bought my first house at 23. Did not know what I was doing. I was actually in real estate, but I was on the property management side. I was a property manager at the time that I bought my first house. And I was a single mom then, raising a 3-year-old, and literally only lived there for 4 years and was able, I mean, back then, I made $55,000.
Crazy.
But $55,000 back then, that was my whole salary as a property manager. And I was getting that in my pocket.
Yeah.
And that set me up for my career right now.
Yeah.
So do I have regrets? No. I would never be in this position now had I not had that house, because I didn't have, you know, parents or I didn't come from a wealthy family to sit there and fund my career and say, oh, you know what, you can quit your job, you could do this and go after it. Unfortunately, I just didn't have that. I didn't grow up that way. I was the very first person in my home not my home, my family to ever own a home. And that was at the age of 23. I was the very first homeowner. Nobody could even help me with the experience because no one had ever done it. They're like, girl, what you doing? You buying a what? You a single mom. Are you sure that's smart?
Yeah.
And you'll have that. Oh my gosh.
Are you sure that's smart?
Don't let anybody talk you out of
Don't
it,
let,
you
and
guys.
especially your mama,
Yes.
your daddy, your
Cousins,
sister, your
friends.
cousins.
People
Like
thought I was so
everybody's
crazy.
experience
Same.
is
And I'm
so
like, you're crazy.
different.
Yeah.
Everybody's experience is so different, and you know, yes, they may be staying at the house, but you know what? They may be renting a house.
Yes.
They like you don't
Yes.
know what
Yeah.
you know. People always like to butt in when you are trying to do something
Have an
for
opinion
Yeah.
about what you got going on.
you.
So
And you can't let that you can't let that change your course. If you know that this is your time to buy.
yeah, because my first house, I bought it at 125.
That is
A brand new D.R. Horton home.
Wow.
125.
1,700
Don't
square
exist
feet.
anymore.
And what do I call it, y'all? Y'all know the story. Where did I buy my house at?
In Lancaster.
I was about to say. I was saying Lancaster.
No, it's
Lancaster.
Yeah.
apparently I'm the only real Dallas person here. It's Lancaster.
Because
But she said
evidently I wasn't
Lancaster.
real Dallas,
Yeah.
y'all. Because I was like, yeah, I live in Lancaster. You talking about Lancaster?
Lancaster?
I said, oh, Lancaster. Okay, Lancaster. All right. All right, whatever y'all call it. I'm not from here. I'm from Dallas. Okay, I'm from Waco, by the way. So, but I've been here for a very long time. This is home now.
Yes.
Okay, y'all. Dallas is home. I've made it home. And again, I'm not from here. And, you know, just letting everyone know, like, I think people see my social media and just think, you know, they don't even know the journey, right? Of how it even, all of this transpired. And that's for another time and another day. But I have built my brand because my whole passion for this was to collectively build a team that had like mind with me, that how can we help our community?
Yeah.
How can we give back to say, what about the underdogs? What about the people that are told no? or they don't no one, like she said, she walked into and she got lucky to get help. But when I bought my first house, I had no help. I mean, I had a realtor that did not help me at all buying my first. I'm like, I was really just figuring it out really with the loan officer, right? But I didn't have someone to walk me through it or give so much of what I give to the consumer right now. It's so important. Yeah. And I think that is key. You know, it's the value that we bring, it's the knowledge that we bring, and helping the people to, if you're not ready, how do we help get you ready, right?
We're just trying to set y'all up.
We want to set you up, and we don't have to charge for that. We this is what we do. This is our calling, and yeah, things and times are different, and the market is different, and we're gonna say that 1,000 times, but it's not too late, and it doesn't mean it's not for you.
Right.
And that's why being with the right team, like Katie said, is so important, because we can give you different perspectives on what and how your investment can look right now.
It's so true. And you know, it's so funny. I get so many people, because they know I'm in this field. They always ask me, you know, like, so like, I want to buy, but like, what should I do? What should I do? And yes, getting a realtor is like, it's one of the top things to do. But I always say, you didn't call a lender.
Yeah.
There you go.
Find out what you can do.
Yep.
Find out what you can do. Katie, tell me about that.
Yeah. And why are you the first step, and why is it so important for you to be the first step?
Yeah. I mean, you definitely want to know what your financing is. Like, you want to know what, and especially right now, I think it's more important than it ever has been, because rates are going up, and they're going up quickly, and they're fluctuating quickly, and there are so many different options right now. And then, you know, as lenders, we're having to be a little bit more creative than we've ever had to be too. So that's huge. You know, you're going to start seeing ARM loans come back. You're going to start seeing, absolutely. You're going to start, absolutely.
What's an ARM loan?
An ARM loan.
I don't know what that is.
It's a short-term rate option. So it's basically, instead of doing a 30-year fixed rate, you can do a 5-year fixed rate on an ARM.
I typically see those like with doctors and professionals.
Doctor programs.
I've been hearing about a lot of doctor loans and stuff.
There's
now.
all kinds of different stuff, and you're going to start seeing some of those come out just because the rates and stuff and the market's fluctuating. So you're going to see those. So knowing your options is huge, and then also listening and being patient, I think, are huge right now.
So it doesn't mean they just live there for 5 years, though, right?
No, they can stay. I mean, you would have to refinance.
After 5 years.
After 5 years. So it gives you a short-term rate option. And honestly, most people are staying in their homes from 3 to 5 years anyway.
Yeah.
So if that's the plan, then an ARM option might be. And I would look at your entire profile. I wouldn't just put anybody in an ARM loan. You know, I would look at your history. I would look at your complete and total finance profile to make sure that it was something that was right for you. So you're just going to start seeing some of those things. So understanding what your options are, understanding what's available out there, getting pre-approved instead of pre-qualified. That way, nobody's wasting their time. You're not wasting your time. We're not wasting our time. We know what you have to offer, and we can set you up for success.
Right. And I think I'm sure a lot, you know, I've seen a question that someone's asking, well, what does your minimum credit score have to be?
Right now, I mean, you can go as low as 580. You can definitely go as low as 580, and that's going to be on your government loans. You probably want a 640 right now.
At minimum, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And having a 640 minimum credit score, what does that give a buyer right now? What will that do for a buyer in this market?
It's not going to give you a specific purchase price, because it's all going to be back against your debt. So it's whatever debt you have. So it's going to be your debt to income ratios, which is something that we talk about during your consultation. But a 640 is going to set you up for a better interest rate than you would if you were going to be a 600. So you definitely, the stronger your credit, the better your credit score is going to be, or the better your interest rate is going to be. So the higher the credit, the better the buyer.
And for those that don't know, how can they check their credit?
Yeah.
You can say that one.
So we don't get paid by all means to suggest this.
So if anybody wants to send this video to this place,
sponsor us,
right? Let us know so we can go ahead and get some compensation.
So I would recommend myfico.com. Everyone, it is the absolute best since I've been in business.
Yes,
that is one of the things that is most comparable to a lender. What they're going to pull. Anybody that tells me I've checked it on Experian, I'm like, before I send you to the lender, it is so worth you getting my FICO, because my FICO doesn't just give mortgage credit scores. It gives you a breakdown if you want to go get a car, what your credit score is with the car. If you want to apply for a credit card, what your credit score is with a credit card. And it breaks, and surprisingly, it breaks each of your credit scores down depending on what you're trying to do. Because your credit score for a mortgage is not going to be the same as getting a car, as same as getting a credit card, or whatever that looks like. So my FICO has been the most accurate to me since I've been using it when I'm sending over a new buyer to Katie. Because if you're, you know, the other ones I know have tended to be, well, it could be
way off.
So off. And
in either direction, too. It can be 100 points higher and 100 points low in either direction. So my FICO is by far, I've never seen my FICO be more than 5 points off.
Oh, well,
that's
really
good.
Estimate, which is
that's good.
Which is huge.
It's a good projection.
I mean, I use that tool on a daily basis.
Me too, for my own personal use.
Yep.
So it's myfico.com, and guys, you can actually download the app. I keep it. I use it. It's very well worth every dollar, every cent, because I use it on a monthly basis just to make sure that I know what my credit score is. No matter that I'm a homeowner right now, it doesn't matter. Like, you know,
keep up with that stuff.
We're adults, first of all, guys. And the worst that you can do is give us a call and be like, well, I don't know what my credit score is right now.
Yeah. Yeah, you do.
You do. You just don't want to tell nobody.
So typically, just the rule of thumb, guys, if you call us and say, well, I haven't checked my credit score, then we're going to automatically know, just from our experience, that your credit score is probably not that good. It's probably not that great.
And that's okay.
Well, it's okay. And there's no shame for it. But
just go to myfico.com.
You need to go to myfico.com. So I would suggest everybody on here to save everyone time, right? Your first step is, it's going to be the lender, but your very, very, very first step is go to myfico.com.
And we say very, very first step because you're online right now and you can do that right now as we're talking.
Myfico.com. You can download the app to any smartphone and you can go ahead and create an account and you can definitely see where your accurate scores are. And I would highly suggest that. And then if your scores are in this range of being ready for your mortgage scores to get approved, then you would call and reach out to me, or you could reach out to Katie first. It doesn't matter either one. Most people do like to reach out to me and have a conversation with me first, and then I get them over to Katie. We have a cool little app that we share, and I get you over the app to your phone. It can be filled out in less than 5 minutes, or I can send it to you by your email, but it's really cool. It's branded for us, and you'll be able to see both of us, and we'll actually get real-time updates on the app, which I absolutely love, by the way. So once you do the application, it tells me that you submitted. It tells us that you submitted the application, so you don't have to say, "Oh, I submitted." We're already gonna know. So the great thing is, once you submit it, she sees it, I see it. She's gonna be, her and her team are gonna look at your file, and then after that, she's gonna pretty much be giving you a consultation call to see where you're at. So I love that. So that would be the very first thing you need to do today, guys. Right? So do that today for me. It's worth the money. Don't say, "Oh, I gotta pay." It's the best. So whatever credit monitoring you're using, they do it through banks now. I
there's
just
so many different ones.
Credit check. So I just don't recommend any of those in my experience. I don't even use my bank's credit monitor. I use myfico.com. So I would suggest
it's the most accurate.
Yeah. So yes, if you have a 580 credit score, you can get a house. So we do want to make sure that you guys know that. But the better your score, the better your situation.
Yes.
Off top. Yes. All right. The better the rate.
The better the rate. Well, the better everything. I mean, right now it's, you definitely want to, and if I look at your scores and let's say they are 640, but I see that there are 3 or 4 little things that you can do or maybe pay down that are going to get you to that 680. We're doing it. We're going to do it. We're going to do it right then and there. I'm going to advise you to make sure that you have the most tools in your toolbox to make sure that you can succeed. So it's worth having anybody look at it. I mean, it's worth having my team especially to look at it, not anybody else's.
And we know firsthand because she actually did my loan for my house a couple times.
Me
too. We'll get you where you need to be. I mean, it's one of the things that you don't know until you know. And you don't know what you qualify for until you actually know. And then that's empowering.
Right.
To know
your buying power.
It is. It's to know that you don't have to be a renter forever. You know? And then, I will turn you back over to Keleisha, and she's going to make sure you find a home.
Yep. And then one of the cool things that we do, guys, too, is that even when you get pre-qualified, and we want to take you all the way, we want to get you a full loan approval before we get out, because that's where we need to be in this market to be a strong buyer, right? But, we have such a great structure and process that we do with each and every client, so you can understand how to win in this market.
Yes.
So the key for me is I definitely won't be like any other realtor you've worked with. I definitely have improved over time with my systems and my structure. And it's because of the market. The market has kind of pushed me, and again, to definitely set the expectation with every client for this market. So before even going out, I do not like, there's no excuse me if there's any car salesmen on here. I'm not saying I don't like you guys, but I am not a car salesman. Okay, so the very first thing that we do before even getting out to see any home is we are going to definitely send the homes to Katie and her team and make sure it is in your price point. But not only are we checking that to see your price point, we're also going over the option for that home. Because if I know, guys, it's a $300,000 home. It just came on the market in Arlington, okay? I know that's the list price.
Yeah.
That's not what it's going to sell for, guys. Okay? A $300,000 home right now is the new norm, first time home buyer price point. So that price point is not at all going to sell for $300,000.
It's not.
Like
You
$350.
100% or more.
More.
Yeah. Because if you tell me there's a $300,000 home move-in ready in Arlington,
Yeah.
I guesstimate on what do you think the highest bidder is going to win? Probably going to be close to a $400,000 home.
Yeah.
Easy.
Very, very
Easy.
easy.
Easy. So when we're pricing these homes and you're sending us those type of homes, we love it. But the reality is those where the reality of the conversations come in.
Yeah.
Right.
We know that that's what you like. I get it, right? Because how many of us like have champagne taste on a beer budget? That's me.
Yeah.
Right? It's all of us, I would
Yes,
say.
it is.
But
For sure.
the reality is we can't price it at 300, guys. We can't tell you what your mortgage payment estimate would be on a $300,000 home. We're going to have to really, in reality, give you at least what it would be at 350, 360.
Yeah.
Not knowing what the other offers look like, because we will never know that. And that's something I want to disclose too to all of my active buyers or people that are going to be coming to see me in a little bit. We don't know what other offers are. We got one shot, one opportunity, and what that looks like to another agent or the seller is what that offer looks like. We don't know what anybody else is doing. We don't know who the highest bidder. We don't know any of that. So we have one shot to get it right, and that's how we would win. So knowing, again, that goes back to having a strong team and having a full-time realtor that knows this market, we're able to tell you statistically what has gone on. And there may not be no comps. Comps don't even matter right now. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
They don't.
They don't. I know that it is, our duty as realtors to send comps. We have to, right? Because you're a consumer. We have to send you the proof. Yeah. It is our job to do that. But I can send you comps all day long, and you're still going to say, well, what did you think I'm going to offer? You're probably not going to like what I'm going to tell you that you got to offer. You're probably going to be like, well, that last house sold for, honey, when was that?
Right.
Yeah.
It sold how long ago?
Yeah.
It could have been 2 or 3 years old. It could just be last year. Heck, guys, it could be
Last
3
month.
months ago.
Like
So much has
literally,
changed.
So much different from the
it's
comps.
so much different.
Comps don't even matter.
Yeah.
Comps should just say, hey.
Comps are just to say, hey, I like that, Jerry. Because it's just the reality. So, of course, I will always present those, but I have to really go off what is happening. And I work all around the DFW, by the way. I'm not just in the South. I am all over, even down to Waco. I'm even actually all over Texas right now because actually I got a few deals in Houston. I'm selling some homes in Houston.
Go, girl.
So I'm all over. I'm a Texas licensed realtor, but where I actually service would be the whole DFW in Waco, Texas. And it could be any other state, as long as it's a new build. Now, pre-owned homes, I don't have access to those, but I can definitely help and get you to the right person. Yeah. But, again, it is just very important that you understand this market today and what we are talking about, because if you don't have the money to play in this market, guys, I will be very transparent because you guys all allowed me to do so today. Yeah. But I have 12, 13 people on our list, pre-approved, all the way approved, ready to go. My highest client right now is at a 650 and cannot find anything.
650 purchase price.
650 purchase price, guys. And this list may be like, oh, you got that many buyers? But I can't help them.
Yeah.
And you know why I can't help them? because majority of all of them don't have the money. They don't have the money to overbid. Yeah. And then second, you probably ask them, why don't you put them in a new build? Well, there's a waiting list.
Yeah.
And the wait list can be so long that the price point for the wait list could be $350, right? But by the time we can contract, it may be $400.
Wow. And that is very true. So, I'm seeing that so much.
So it's important to have the conversation with your lender. I mean, if I pre-approve somebody, and these are the harder conversations that we would have during our consultation, is if you're pre-approved at $300, then I'm going to tell you to shop at $250. Yeah. You know, because we're probably going to have to offer. Now, you're pre-approved to up to $300, which means that you can get a loan for that much, but you're going to have to shop at $250, meaning whatever houses and homes that you're looking at, you're really looking at $250,000 homes because you're going to have to bid over in this market. And that's not to say that it won't change in the summer. Heck, we have been in so many different markets.
We don't even know.
We don't even know.
Literally, like you say, it's month to month, week to week. It's just, I mean, because honestly, at the beginning of the year, I thought we were like kind of, leveling out, getting back.
I did too.
Yeah. And then March happened. You're like, what the heck is going on?
It's so true.
It's 100% true.
It's crazy.
But I mean, not to discourage anybody, because we want you to know that you, as long as you have a good team that's got a good strategy and you're willing to listen and do what it takes, then we're willing to help you.
I think the key thing is, and so many people are scared to do it, is call Katie. Call Katie. Know where you're at. Because really, even when I talk to some of my girlfriends, they're like, what they want to buy a house and they're looking at all these houses. I know you're looking at all. Know what you can buy. Yeah. Like, it makes no sense. You're going to looking at these houses, this wish list, and you don't even know what you can buy.
You don't even know.
You don't know. And like she said, it is so different. You know, what I thought I could buy, this week, it may be different next week. So just know what you can buy. Yeah. That way you would have, because I think even that would give you confidence that, okay, I can be in this game.
What's the estimated payment? Looking like, because just because you think that you might, but when you start adding in Zillow and Realtor.com, guys, Realtor.com, it's not accurate, guys. The payments that they give you, estimated payments, that's nothing. So that's why, when you're like, oh, I saw this house and it's estimated this for a payment, no.
And then you get to me and I'm like, it's 800 more or more than that.
And you're like,
what the heck? What? I thought I could afford this.
So then your whole buying structure changes with the amount, because it's so important that you know your budget, especially right now, right?
You have to know.
And what you think is your budget for the type of house that you think you want, it with everybody, it's so different right now.
It is so different.
Because everybody wants they want the beautiful new house, right?
Yeah. They want the big new house with the 3, 4, 5 bedroom, and it's just like understanding that like certain areas were at a certain price point, Frisco being one of them, and it's just like, I'm sorry, you can't even come over here if you're not at a minimum 700-800.
Minimum that, and then also minimum got some money.
Because I mean, but the great thing is there are so many neighborhoods. And if you just open your mind and look at it as, this is my investment. This is my investment. You can get in that house today and be like, my client who is closing, who bought in November, buy it today, and 6 months later you selling it for more.
You're making triple the amount of what you even got to put into it to even get it.
Right. And now you can really buy the house you want. So you just never know, but definitely, please buy. Y'all buy. Buy now.
But we really want to reiterate. We really want to talk about that, though, because I would be lying to say that my business has definitely did something different this year. And I am busy, but my new busy is having the tougher conversations that I never thought I was going to have. Which are, can I really help you? And can you really afford to buy in this market?
And are you willing to help yourself? I think that's a big one. I think that's our biggest one. And I think that's the one that we struggle with the most. Like, if you have the ability, if you have the funds, you have the ability, you can buy in this market and you can compete. And then you're just like, well, when we're struggling to help 15 other families, and you've got the one client that has the opportunity, and they just don't say it. You want to strangle them. You're like,
and that's
because they don't want to use their money. They don't want to use their own money.
And then also too, you have to.
I didn't do nothing for you in the stock market.
Listen, and when she tells you and calls you and say, hey, we got to move because I got something, you got to move.
When I call you, call me back, and I mean now.
And the people that have listened, those are the people that you see on my social media page. Getting keys.
Yeah.
At the closing table. The people that are listening,
They're the ones.
They're the ones. You're going to have a closing date. But if you go into this thinking you know it all, or thinking your cousin just bought 5 months ago,
they
or
know
your
about it,
friends just bought 5 months ago, and that's not how their process went, honey, my job is to get you into a house. That is how I make a living. So of course I want you to get into a house, but I will be doing you a disservice to not be honest with you up front, because I don't want you to waste your time, and I really don't want to waste mine, because when your time feels unsuccessful or you're not getting what you want out of this, then you're going to start thinking maybe I'm not the right realtor for you. And I will not probably be if I didn't tell you honestly the truth up front.
Yeah.
And if you're not having, and if you've talked to a realtor that is telling you anything different today, you're talking to the wrong one.
Yeah. And
I'm going to be honest. Because I am a top producer in Dallas, and I sell a lot of homes. I help a lot of families. But again, the market is doing something different, and you have to understand what this market looks like for you in your situation. So that's what I have to hold on to.
Yeah, all day, honey.
You know.
Yep.
And what else would you say, Katie? Talking about down payment assistance. That's another big topic. With understanding, a lot of people don't want to use their money, and you can use, a lot of people don't know that you can actually use your 401k for down payment. You can use some of these things that you don't think that you could or don't know that you can. So Katie can definitely talk more about that because she's the lender, but I want people to understand what down payment assistance program, what does it look like today versus what it looked like a year ago? Because it is hard, and it's not hard, I would say, but it is different. And sometimes people think, getting down payment assistance may be better because you don't want to use your money until you see the numbers. Yeah. And maybe down payment assistance doesn't look good if you use your own money.
Exactly.
And that payment may be looking a little better because it comes with a price.
Yeah.
And I'll let Katie explain that more.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, we, like I keep saying, we've been so lucky the past couple of years where rates were low and you could get down payment assistance. And these down payment assistance, especially at the beginning of COVID, and I don't know that a lot of people know this, but they took these programs away from us.
Yeah, they did.
And they were not available. Yep. And last Friday, they took them off the market completely. There was one program left, but they brought them right back the next day. But when they brought them back, the rate for down payment assistance as of yesterday was 6.75% for a 4% grant. So are they available? Yes. Do you want them? Maybe not. When the current market rate is hanging around under 5, there's no way that I would be paying 6.75 if I have 50 grand in the bank. And I think a lot of people need to understand that I'm your financial advisor. And so if you're giving me everything that I need, if I'm looking at your stocks, if I'm looking at your 401k, if I'm looking at your house that you own, how much equity you have in your home, I'm going to try to tap into all of that and show you what that looks like for every individual person and tell you don't usually need to take a penalty if you're going to take money out of your 401k.
Right.
And I promise you it's not doing you any favors. Those of you that haven't looked at your 401k, I would encourage you to probably do so.
100%.
You might be shocked. So your money's not doing you any good there. Put it in real estate.
Yeah, it's not.
Don't let it just sit there and stay stale or shrink like all the rest of us
You'll just
are doing.
be surprised at people's mindsets, though.
Yeah.
Like what I'm hearing nowadays and the conversations I'm having with people, I'm just like, where are you getting your information?
Yeah.
Because you'll be surprised at how many people talk people that are ready to buy a house out of buying it right now, out of using their 401k, out of doing this, and that just because they're not doing it.
I'm
like,
don't let your people, nobody else's opinion of you is any of your business.
Exactly. One thing that my spouse, what he says, he's like, his mindset is that if it's in the house, we can always get it back.
Sure.
Which is really true.
That is very true.
And that's the mindset. Like, if it's in the house.
That's a good way to look at it.
It is a great way to look at it.
Always, because there's so many things to do after you buy and close your home. You can pull money out. There's so many different things you can do.
I like that.
That's what people don't.
So
that's another thing they don't
lose
understand.
it in the house.
Exactly.
So, down payment assistance, it's great. I mean, it is. And we've literally made and grown our business off of being the first-time home buyer. We really have. And we still want to cater to that community. We love them. But we're going to look at everything this year. We're not going to say it's all about the down payment assistance because this year it's just different. It's not about that anymore. Can you use it? Absolutely. Is it available? Absolutely. But we want to look at your entire profile to make sure it's right for you.
Yeah.
And sometimes those are harder conversations, and you may not like what you hear.
Yeah.
But I promise, if you listen to us, you're gonna definitely, it's gonna pay off.
Because we used to scream free money, free money, free money. But now we're like, okay, we got to see what this looks like. If this looks good for you,
Yeah.
if using the free money or using your own money.
Right.
So I did want to bring that up,
Yeah,
guys,
for
because
sure.
it is an important topic right now, because there is so many people, again, that Katie and I aren't able to help because they do want to use the down payment assistance, and they just don't have the money to play in the market. And then, you know, that certain price point in today's market, they don't want to buy it. And again, like Laura said, it may not be your forever home. And the more you are picky and the longer you wait, I tell people this too, the worse it gets. But the smaller the house, the different the house.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about earlier about the 250 yesterday,
yeah.
the 250 today. It look real different.
Yeah.
I remember
And
what
that's
250
tough.
used to be able to.
Oh my
I'm sorry.
gosh.
My
know.
first house was under 250,
Yeah,
and
and
it was
it's,
3,300 square feet, 5 bedroom, 4
Yeah.
bath,
Yeah.
media room, game room,
Yep.
2 masters.
You
Like
said you had all that and it was under 250.
250.
it was under 250
Dang.
And where was that at?
in Frisco.
In Frisco.
In Frisco.
I know.
I'm just like, we can't make this up, guys.
See, I wish I'd bought like 10 houses.
I know, me
I
too,
know.
right? I feel like,
I
what?
should have kept them all.
Yeah.
Should have kept them all.
But that's the reality of the market today, guys, and that's what we want. That's what we wanted to jump on and give back our time to explain to you guys today, this morning, on what this looks like, what this market looks like, and are you willing to put some skin in the game?
Yeah.
Because if you're not, you may need to keep renting, and I never thought I'd say that.
Yeah.
Because if you're not willing to do what it takes, and you're not willing to see the bigger picture, then you might as well stay where you are, because you are going to just be wasting your time.
Yeah.
And your expectations. I mean,
your expectations.
You have to understand and be flexible with your expectations, and be flexible in this market, and understand that it's going to change, and you may not always like what you hear on the other
Yeah.
side. I mean, even people I was talking to in December, you know, that are pre-approved, that all of a sudden now they're ready.
Yeah.
Now they're ready, and the rate's 2% higher than it was in December. 2% higher, guys. 2% higher.
And
than
December
it was
was
in
the
December.
time to buy.
Yes,
And
it was.
they,
Yes, it
you know,
was.
they didn't listen, and now they're ready, and now they're mad. And now they're mad at me,
Yeah.
because they waited.
Yeah.
And we told them not to.
Right.
So
And we've been doing this for how long?
Yeah.
And it amazes me how many people call and be like, I'm ready now. And I'm thinking, if you were ready 2 years ago when I talked to you, and that
You're not
2
gonna like
years
this,
ago
yeah.
house now, the price point that you just didn't want to make a move, but you were approved then. You just
Right.
didn't want to make a move.
Right.
Can you imagine that same conversation now? If you didn't make a move 2 years ago, you're not making a move now, unless your lifestyle has changed.
Yes.
Maybe you got married, maybe whatever.
Right.
But I mean, whew, guys, we can't, tell you enough about how important this is. But again, it's a great time to buy if you're willing to put some skin in the game, if you're willing to do what it takes. And if you aren't, I would say you might want to hold off.
Yeah.
And that's just the honest truth, because we do have people that we can't help right now. And it's because they're just not willing to do what it takes. It's not that we refuse to help them. They're just not willing to do what it takes for this market. And it's only going to get worse. So some people will never buy. Some people probably will never buy, because it is only
sad,
going to
though.
get worse. Because if they can't do it now, they can do it later, right?
Right.
But they're going to be paying so much more. But if they are single, or they don't plan on getting married ever, or they, maybe they are just content with being alone. I've had a conversation with somebody that was just dating a guy, and that guy talked her out of buying right now.
Don't get
And
me
she
started
made-
on how I feel.
she
You know
made-
how I feel about
She
that.
made excellent money.
She did.
And I said,
You're gonna let him
How
get
somebody
you.
that don't have nothing
I
gonna
know.
tell you?
and
I
how
know.
somebody gonna tell you that ain't put a ring on your finger?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Y'all know what
Can
I
we
said.
tell
I said, don't wait on anyone.
I mean,
No.
let's talk about
Set
that.
yourself up.
You
Yeah.
gotta
money in
set
your sleep.
yourself up, man.
And guess what? And if they end up putting a ring on your finger, guess
Kudos.
what? Now y'all got an investment property.
Yes. Turn that to a rental or an Airbnb, and then buy a house, bigger house
Together.
Together.
But
It's
yeah,
a win-win.
it is. So, I mean, I think we've pretty much hit on a lot of different things about
Yeah.
this market.
Yeah.
And, when it comes to buying, if you are ready, let's just say that. If you think that you are ready and you are able to do what it takes for this market, reach out to me. I'm going to do a one-on-one consultation with you. I'm going to go over the steps as far as what you need to be prepared. Typically, we go over all of that. But times have changed, and honestly, the conversation has to be different.
Right.
Because if you end up being ready based on what we say today, all of everything that you're going to need up front to get ready is going to already be there.
Exactly.
Right? So we don't even have to go over that. What we want to go over is making sure that you understand what's going on right now. And are you ready to be a buyer in this market? Are you ready to have an investment that's going to change your life? Because we've all given you different scenarios. I mean, Laura to perspective, right?
Yeah.
From you to you to me. We all have given that to you today. And that's the most important thing.
Yes.
Right? So now it's on you. What are you going to decide to do with the information that you're given today? And how does that look? And if we would love to be your team, first of all. We would love to help you. We have the knowledge, as you can see. We have everything it takes to help you in this market. So at the end of the day, it's just going to begin with you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anything else you ladies want to close out and think we should say?
Check that credit and
Check
call them first.
Absolutely.
We're at the end.
We'll answer all
Call
of
them
your
first.
questions in the chat box. We're definitely going to get to all of your questions. So just, and you can email us, you can text us. We're going to put our information on the end of everything as well. So we'll make sure and get back to all of your questions. I think the only thing that I would like to say and wrap up is you don't know until you know. So take a chance on you, take a chance on your future, and see where you are, and then go from there. I mean, there's no harm in it.
It's not.
And again, I want to thank my girls today for actually taking this journey with me. We've been on this journey for quite some time, and that we all give back our time. We're all we're all very busy, and I'm just so thankful that they're as passionate about this as me to help you guys and give back our time to educate you on what this looks like. Yeah. So again, all of our information will be in the chat boxes. We look forward to helping you, and we look forward to being the dream team for you.
Yes,
Okay.
we want to help you.
Thank you guys.
Thank
We hope
you.
you have a good day.
Bye.